Hey guys, welcome to Wrestling Daze and welcome to some amazing news. This is coming out of the media scrum, and when I tell you this might be the biggest story of the weekend, you might not believe me, but it is absolutely monumental. CM Punk has just gone off like a rocket. One of the very last things that he says is, please remember, we are real people too. So I am going to actually bear that in mind as I relay this information, because some of you won't have seen the AEW media scrum, but oh boy, are you going to be hearing about it, because this thing is going to be absolutely everywhere. And actually, the repercussions of it are going to be very interesting to see, because I honestly don't know what comes next in regards to all of this. But let's get into it. We actually join the media scrum. This thing is on YouTube, and I would urge that you watch it so that you can get the full picture. But this is on YouTube, and we join it just as CM Punk is saying, so let me get this straight, you fancy yourself as a journalist. So clearly a question has been asked, but we never quite catch what the question is. And he says, first of all, are you friends with Scott Colton? So clearly a question has been asked about Colt Cabana. Now, some of you will know the relationship and the backstory here. They used to be friends. It turned ugly. There was a lawsuit, and they're no longer friends. They haven't been friends since about 2014. But obviously, they both work in AEW, and seemingly they've been kept well apart. And so someone has asked a question about maybe their relationship now, or something along these lines. And he goes off, man. He goes off. I mean, I really don't think this is a work. The reason why I say that is because, I mean, this is just so real. There's so much detail. If this is a work, then Colt Cabana has got to be in on it. And he must have okayed this stuff. And I just don't. If this is a work, I'll be stunned. I really think he shoots here. I think this is a lot of frustration that's come to the surface. And to be honest, I can understand it. I mean, him going through all the stuff that he talks about, if this has been bottled up inside for a long time, I think at some point he was going to explode. And I think that's what we've just had tonight. We've had CM Punk in that media scrum explode, just lose it. The top came off, and it's incredible. So he says, you fancy yourself a journalist? He's responding to this person. Are you friends with Scott Colton? So he's actually using Colt Cabana's real name. He said, because if you are friends with him, I think you really should be disclosing that. And you can tell that it's, I don't want to say hostile, but clearly if you've asked this question, this is not going in a direction that I think you was hoping it was going down. So he said, if you are friends, then I feel like you should disclose who your friends are. If not, then I do apologize. But he goes, okay, well, I've not been friends with Scott Colton in about a decade. Want nothing to do with him kind of in all that time, and actually probably even before that. And he says, it's unfortunate that I've got to speak on this in my time. This is a business. Kind of making, out the fact that you're asking me a very personal question. This is a business. I'm here at an AEW media scrum. And he goes, I'm a grown man. If I don't want to be friends with someone, that's my business. I really feel like my friends are there to catch me if I do stumble and fall. And Scott Colton is someone that I never felt would do that. He said, I wanted to take a guy to the top, but I took a guy to the top with me who didn't want to see me at the top. I mean, even this alone is really interesting, but it gets a lot more detailed. He said his friendship with Scott ended before he paid up all of his bills. Said that he's got emails detailing loads of stuff. Talks about how Scott has got an account with his mom, and how he received an email saying could he drop the lawsuit and all of this. Speaks about how it's 2022, hasn't been friends with him since 2014. Says, the fact I've got to sit up here and speak about this because of irresponsible EVPs who couldn't manage a target, who like to spread lies. He really goes in here on Hangman, basically. I mean, a lot of this has come out of the Hangman stuff. And he says that, he calls Hangman a few different things. He says Hangman went on national TV, went into business for himself. He even says, I think to Meltzer, Dave, what did I ever do? Kind of like, how did I start this? You know, it's basically other people that have been bringing this up. You know, people that call themselves EVPs should have known better. You know, Tony at this point. I mean, Tony all throughout this looks like he's on the flipping verge of tears. I mean, Tony is just... I mean, put yourself in Tony's situation. CM Punk is going off. All about his kind of history with Colt Cabana, Scott Colton, and, you know, Tony's just having to sit there and just be like, I mean, it's like literally watching the place burn around you. I mean, the fallout of this is going to be stunning. He's going to have to deal with problems with Hangman. If there's problems with Hangman, is there going to be problems with Omega? Is there going to be problems with Young Bucks? There's going to be problems with Colt Cabana, who I believe is still with AEW. I think a lot of this came out of the interview that Tony did the other week. And actually, Tony was saying, look, I should have just said no comment. But the question was, like, where is Colt? Is Colt, like, you know, in Ring of Honor now? Why he's been moved? Has CM Punk had something to do with that? A lot of people are saying CM Punk has, and that's where this has come from. And Tony the other day was kind of making it clear CM Punk's got nothing to do with this. So Tony was coming from a good place. He was kind of saying, you know, this is nothing to do with CM Punk. So he was trying to dismiss the story. So, you know, I'm kind of standing up a bit for Tony here. And in all fairness, Punk said it's not your fault. Do you know what I mean? Like, he did say that to Tony, but Tony was like, look, I should have just no commented. And, you know, CM Punk's, well, you know, yeah, you know, I appreciate that. So, you know, back it went to Punk, and he was saying, we're far beyond apologies. If you've got a problem with me, then you need to take it up with me. And it kind of ended there. There was quite a bit of detail about what was in those emails. You know, he was talking about how he was paying all of his bills. And actually, at the very end, before he gets up and walks off, he says there's two people that have made the most money out of CM Punk. And he turned to Tony and he said, actually, I don't think you're in that list yet. He said one of them is Vince McMahon and the other one is Scott Colton, Colt Cabana. Kind of, he says that Colt Cabana has made a lot of money off the CM Punk name. He's made it very clear that he doesn't want anything to do with him. Doesn't care where he works. He doesn't care where he sleeps. He doesn't care where he lives. He doesn't want anything to do with him. So he is making it crystal clear, right? Crystal. He had nothing to do with anything that's going on with Colt Cabana right now. I mean, if he wanted to get that message across, he definitely got that message across. He was very, very clear in that. And then we moved on to MJF. Punk said he just wants me to work with, and he used the word pricks, right? This was obviously a lot of profanity in here and everything. And so then we went into like an MJF segment. But actually, Punk returned to the Scott Colton stuff. He said, look, I just want to come back to this because when he said he was going to sue me, I asked to talk to him and he refused. I asked for mediation. And he refused. I offered to give him money. He denied it. You know, I'm hot, I'm old, I'm hurt, I'm snippy, I'm being forced to work with children. He really went off, man. He really went off. You know, and again, he's talking about EVPs in the company that are trying to upset and trying to meddle with their top baby face. You know, they're trying to get like heel heat on their top baby face. So, again, he went in off that. So, you know, he says that he talks about he's tired about wrestling kids that think they know everything. The grass isn't always greener on the other side. And then he spoke at length about his injury. He said that he thinks he did it when he hit that guardrail. I think it was shortly after, like, as soon as he'd won the title. I think it was on, like, the next Dynamite or something. He comes out, jumps into the crowd, hits the guardrail. And, yeah, he said he's got 3 plates. It's the worst injury he's ever had. It was meant to be an hour surgery. It was 4 hours. He was, you know, in bed for like 2 weeks, almost 3 weeks. Wanted to wrestle at Forbidden Door. He says that he's got, like, you know, respect with Moxley. They come from a similar place. Always the bridesmaid, never the bride. And said that, you know, they've got very different philosophies in pro wrestling, but it's all good. It's all wrestling. And he said that he's, you know, taken a lot of flack on this subject in a long time. And he regrets that he's had to mention Scott Colton's name because he doesn't deserve it. And then that's when he went into the two people have made the most money off the CM Punk name being Vince and Scott Colton. So, I mean, look, he just went, man. I mean, honestly, you could have heard a pin drop. After what we just saw with All Out, to have this explosion about Colt Cabana and for us to get some of the quotes we got about how he works with children and all of this, like, as I said, like, Tony's face just looked absolutely crestfallen because he knows he's going to have to mop this up. He knows he's going to have to deal with this. But I mean, I have to stress, I really understand where CM Punk is coming from this. He stayed quiet on this for a long, long time. I do feel a bit for Colt because, like, to my knowledge, he hasn't done anything to cause, from the moment CM Punk came into the company to where we are now, I'm not aware of Colt having done anything. I don't know if he has or if he hasn't. Not aware of him in doing anything. So I feel a bit sorry for him here because I don't know that he really deserves all of this. But I think this damage in this relationship was obviously done a long, 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 long time ago. And, I think they've made it very clear that they're clearly not moving towards healing their friendship, their relationship. It doesn't seem at this point like it will ever be restored. But it's stunning. It's stunning. If you get a chance to watch it, it's on the official All Elite Wrestling YouTube channel. It's the AEW All Out Media Scrum from today. It's the very first thing that you come to. So I would urge that you check it out. But there's going to be a lot of talk about this. This will be everywhere. You will not be able to escape this. And I do fear that CM Punk might have just opened a real can of worms. Although saying that, I don't know if anyone's going to want to talk to him about it because he was very hostile, certainly came across that way. He even apologized at one point to someone, one of the reporters. He was like, I'm sorry if I come across as a bit scary tonight. One of the guys was like, I've interviewed potential presidential candidates. I don't think I've ever been as scared as I am right now. So, wild. But if you've seen it, let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. We'll see what the fallout is to this. But honestly, I think this media scrum just stole the weekend. But thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye for now.